What's good, family? And thank you for tuning in. Today, we're going to talk about pushing past your limits. Let's kick this conversation off right. Pushing past your limits. Moving on to the next step. First thing we're going to have to do is research the next step. We research the next step to where we know how to position ourselves to gear and move forward. Because you can't go about it doing chaotic things expecting to move on. No, there are the orders to these things. You have to align yourself up for the goal. Take archery, for instance. You have to pull the arrow back. You don't cock it back, you pull it back. You catch your aim. However long it takes, you want to line yourself up with the target. And then you let the arrow loose and it goes forward. That's how we want to position ourselves to move on to the next level. Pushing past that limit. Now, most of us are comfortable in our current limitations because, we look at what it took for us to get to where we are now. It's not like, man, I put in a lot of blood, sweat, and tears. I've cried. I fought. I've clawed my way to this position. And yeah, I want more, but is it worth it? Is it really worth it? I can't answer that question for you. That's a question you got to answer for yourself. Do you want to be in your current position singing your shoulda, coulda, wouldas? Well, I could have done this, but I was comfortable where I was at. I could have been great, but I was comfortable at mediocrity. That right there is going to be one of the major enemies you're going to face in pushing past your current limitations. Because for all the voices telling you to go forward, there's that one loud voice telling you to stay where you're at. You don't know what's on the other side of that fence. Well, as we all say, the grass ain't always greener on the other side. But sometimes that bitch looks beautiful. Sometimes it ain't weeds and dog crap. Sometimes it really is a luscious, plump green grass. But are you going to keep looking at that grass from the fence? Or are you going to get on your hands and knees and do what you got to do to get your grass looking right? But you can't just go about putting any kind of fertilizer down. You need to research what type of fertilizer you got to put down in order for it to get that luscious green feeling, that luscious green look. So I say researching the next step is one of the most important things you could do to position yourself to push past current limitations. You need to know that if I go left, and by going left, it's going to set me up to take a curve. And by taking this curve, it's going to spit me back out over here. And then once I get over here, I'm going to jump over onto this other side. And then boom, I'm at my goal. You won't know that without researching, without looking it up, without putting time and effort into it. Because anything good is worth the wait. It's worth the hassle. It's worth the headache. Because yeah, it's a headache getting it, but it's gonna feel that much more better once you have it. Nobody wants to be stuck with where they're at. That stuck feeling will eat at you. It will gnaw at you, and then you become bitter and you become angry because you just feel stuck. Like, I want more. But wanting more doesn't mean you're going to get more. Wanting better doesn't mean you're going to get better. I can want anything I want, but until I put in the work, until I put in the time and the effort, I'm not going to get it. So the same applies for me, it applies for you. You have to be willing to get your hands dirty. You can't wait for the next man to say, hey, you know what? You've been working here for 10 years and you've been doing such a swell job. Come here, man. I'm going to hand you this new position because I feel like you're just that doggone good. This ain't a movie. This is real life. Real life is, hey, sir, hey, ma'am, I've been doing this for 10 plus years. What do I need to do to move on to the next position, to the next step, to the next thing? How do I gear myself up for that win? Because in the business world, it ain't just about you. You got to make yourself an asset to the company. And if the company already views you as a liability, that may be one of the first things you have to change. Stop being a liability and start being an asset. Start doing something productive other than just saying they should praise me because I showed up to work. They should praise me just because I came here today. Because guess what? Anybody else can show up to work. Everybody else is doing it. But what are you doing that is different from the next person? What are you doing that's going to set you apart? Your limitation could be blending in with the crowd. You know what? The nail that sticks out gets hammered. I don't want to be that. So I'm going to just blend in. I'm going to just do the bare minimum, do enough to get by. And they'll see that I'm a great guy and that I have the potentials to make a damn good supervisor or a damn good team leader or a good project manager. They'll see that because, I'm just blending in. Nah, bro. Nah, sis. It don't work that way. You gotta stand out above the crowd. You gotta be different. You can't go about it doing you can't go about achieving greatness by doing mediocrity actions. Greatness is greatness and mediocrity is mediocrity. You can't conflate the two. So you got to position yourself. And it starts by doing the research. It starts by figuring out what your next step is. That is how you start to position yourself to push past your current limitations. So we done talked about researching the next step. So what comes after that? Next, you gotta understand two is greater than one. Bro, what are you talking about? Two is greater than one. We all know that. That's basic mathematics. No, not to some people. Some people, one is greater than two. But I'm trying to tell you and trying to push past your limits. Two is greater than one. Two people working together to achieve a common goal can achieve more than what one person can do by themselves. You have to gear yourself up around like-minded individuals who are aiming towards the same goal, who are going towards the same mark. I mean, look at your job. Your job is filled with like-minded individuals like yourself. They're there for the money. They're there to make money. They're there to do the job, and they're there to progress in their own way. Like-minded individuals. Now, they may not have the same motivation as you have, but you are still around people who have the mindset, I'm here to do this job because I want to take care of my family. Why do people go to school? You're around like-minded individuals at school. We're all here to become doctors, so we're studying the same material. We're taking the same courses. We're reading the same book. We got a group meet that we go and we chalk notes across to each other. We talk to each other about the lesson that we just had or things that we're not understanding. Iron sharpens iron. Two people constantly rubbing against each other, testing each other, driving each other to become better. Two is greater than one in any way you flip it. You can't go about taking a mindset of I'm going to push past my limitations by myself. It can't happen by yourself because sometimes in order to move forward, you have to have people behind you that can jumpstart you forward. Nobody runs the race by themselves. There's a support system behind it. You look at any professional athlete. Look at your grandmother, your mother, your father, your sisters. They're the support system that has encouraged them and pushed them forward at times where they felt like, you know what, I just can't do it no more. I want to quit. I'm tired. This is it. This is as far as I go. And then there's that person behind them, like, nah, bro, come on, let's go. Come on, get yourself up. Whenever you're working to lose weight or you're working out, you have trainers. I mean, athletes get trainers, people who are stronger than them, who are faster than them, who are better than them. And they use that trainer to coach them to be better, to get to that next level. You don't just start out. You can't just go jump in and run a marathon. Nah, you gotta start by running laps first. Nobody's born just, oh, you know what, I'm gonna go run a triathlon today because you know what, I had the idea to do it. I mean, even with the whole Jake Paul, Mike Tyson fight that just happened. Yeah, they say Jake Paul woke up one day and said he wanted to be a boxer, but he didn't jump straight into professional boxing. He started training. He started building up the muscles. He started getting the foundation. He started doing the research. He started to get with the trainers. He did what he had to do to get to that position to where now I'm a professional boxer. So let's not get it twisted. He didn't just wake up one day and say, I'm gonna be a boxer, and the next day he was professional boxing, regardless of what platform he had. Nah, it took steps. Mike Tyson didn't become Iron Mike overnight. Heck no, there were steps that had to be put into it, but there was also a support system that was backing him behind him to where he became Iron Mike Tyson off of that support system. A lot of times we glorify the performer or the actor on stage. We glorify the face of the product and not understanding or realizing that behind that face, there's a whole creative team. You got your makeup designers, you got your executive producers, you got your producers, you have your marketers, you have your choreographers, you have a whole team behind that face that you're seeing. Nobody makes it anywhere just because they are who they are. Nah, it don't work like that. That ain't how it's geared. That ain't how it's set up. Nah, you gotta take your time and build your team. Get yourself around like-minded individuals. Get yourself around people who aren't yes men. Now, let me say that again. Get yourself around people who aren't yes men. A lot of us, we want to surround ourselves with people with, yeah, man, that's a good idea. Yeah, man, you could do that. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. And you don't have that person now tell you, like, bro, like, nah, man. Like, let's go back and relook at this. Like, nah, that wasn't good. Nah, you could do better. Nah, you need to pump your brakes and do some more research. You need to really take some time and think if this is something you really want to do. A lot of times we get ourselves around people who want to say yes, 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 yes. And sometimes they're saying yes just to see you fail. Nah, get yourself from around them people, man. Get yourself around people who are going to tell you the cold, hard, honest truth. Sometimes we're not great at when we first start. Sometimes we weren't born to do this. Sometimes you got to put in a little bit more work. Sometimes you got to go look at yourself in the mirror and have them people behind you saying, straighten up, do it better, get it right. Don't go out there and just present half work. Present your best work. Was that the best you could do when you did that take? Nah, man. Then go back and redo it again and get it right. Nobody does it by themselves. And you need to always remember, two is greater than one could ever be. All right, so as we come to our final point, we've talked about researching, we've talked about how two is greater than one. Now it's time to implement everything that we've talked about. And one of the ways you can implement it is keep this phrase in your mind: play chess, not checkers. You want to position yourself to win, and you got to do it strategically. To advance to that next level, to push past that limit, you have to be strategic in every move you do. You can no longer just make random moves and sporadic moves and think that the best outcome is going to come from doing random things. You have to be very strategic with it. Being strategic in the people you keep around you, the things you research, I mean, even the things you listen to, all that can play a fact, can be factors in how you're going to push forward and you're going to move forward. You have to visualize your win. There's no way to win or push past that limit or get to that next level without first visualizing it. If you don't have a vision, you're lost. You're lost before you even start. If you don't have a vision, your research won't matter. If you don't have a vision, how can you have a team behind you to help push you? So you got to make sure you don't lose sight of your vision. And you got to be able to keep yourself self-motivated. Yes, you need a team, but you need to also motivate yourself to keep pushing forward, to keep going forward, to keep moving forward. And playing chess, not checkers, is one of those phrases, it just sticks with you. Because it's like, man, okay, for those who don't know, chess is a very strategic game. It's every move can be a winning move. I mean, chess is a game where the lowest piece can be the game winning piece. So that goes to say that there is no small pieces in chess versus checkers. It's kind of free play. You don't have to be very strategic to play checkers. You just make a couple of moves here, a couple of moves there, and there it goes. Now that's not dissing any checker players. saying that chess players are better. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is chess is more strategic. So when positioning yourself, when you do your research, when you have your crew and your group behind you or that person, you have already begun to utilize the pieces on the board and you're not even knowing what you're doing. Not in a bad way. It's just you're moving those pieces. Now you just got to continue thinking, trying to get to where you can play 3 moves ahead, 4 moves ahead, 5 moves ahead. Well, if I move here, this is what's going to happen. Cause and effect. You got to always remember the way the universe works. For every cause, there is an effect. For every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. So you want to take those into consideration when moving forward. You want to keep that in mind while you're trying to transcend the limitations. Understand what the limitations are. Understand how they're preventing you or hindering you from achieving that next step. And understand that, you know what, you may not get to the exact next step that you thought you were going to get to. And be willing to accept that. As long as we're not backtracking, we're moving forward. And sometimes you may get little victories. I got a little victory here, a little victory there, a little victory here. Those little victories will add up to your victory. Again, this is not a race. This is a journey. Right now, you're the protagonist going on your journey, and you have your side characters with you there that are there to be your mental, emotional, physical support that you're gonna need throughout this journey. But the journey of 1,000 miles starts with the first step. You got to be willing to take that first step before any of your side characters are going to tag along with you on this journey. So I leave y'all with this. Research, get your crew, play chess, not checkers. Thank y'all for tuning in. Catch y'all next week.